doesn't age, but the picture ages. And like signs of sin or moral failure also are shown in the picture. So if he does something evil, the picture looks evil, the painting. I was really excited to read this, and as I said, I did have a good time, but I'm just not the person who reads classics and like loves them. Like, it's a good book, but yeah, I would recommend it. But I'm not really a classic lover. I kind of have to rush through these because there are so many. And then the next 5.5 I have all read on vacation. Starting with Lockwood and Co., The Screaming Staircase. This is the first part of a series, and the series is about a group of investigators, kind of. No, it's about, like, the main character, from most perspectives it's written, is a girl called Lucy, and together with Lockwood and George, they are like, they have an office and they hunt ghosts, because in this, the world, or at least England, is overrun by evil spirits, and they have to fight them, because only children can see ghosts, adults can't see them. So children have to fight the ghosts. This one was 5 out of 5 stars for me, and I will be reading the next parts. In fact, the very next book I read was the next book in the series. Let me pull that up on my phone because I don't have the physical copy. The next one was Lockwood and Co., The Dagger in the Desk, which is a novella, so very short. That is like, it's part 1.5, so it's between the first and the second part. Let me get this one back for tapping when I talk about it. So that would be the third book that I read. And I rated that 4 out of 5. It was good. his money. She hopes the buzz will bring some attention to her parents' beloved donut shop. But things grow complicated when Shireen learns that her ex-girlfriend Chris is also on the show. Then there's Neve, a fellow contestant who Shireen finds herself quickly growing close to. As the competition heats up, Shireen will have to put her feelings aside if she wants a sweet victory. So I gave this 4.5 stars. It's a very short, sweet read, both literally and metaphorically. Get it? Because it's about baking. And I thought it was fairly predictable, but that's not always a bad thing. And it didn't take away the joy of reading for me. But I deducted half a star because I thought that Shireen was a little too focused on herself at times. The book made a point about her being impulsive, and that's totally fine. But I think that at some points in the story she failed to take other people's opinions and views into account, and was very focused on how she saw things, and didn't want to accept that there's like a second side of the same story. And also I felt like she didn't apologize properly for some of the things she said and did. But that's just a personal issue. This one I bought on vacation. Lockwood & Co. is one of the second-hand books I bought that I took with me on vacation, and this one I bought in Scotland. They had so many amazing books. And then this one I also bought in like a tourist shop with lots of pictures of men in kilts and nothing else. And they had a section about with books like Scottish murders, Scottish fairy tales, Scottish myths, Scottish and yeah, this was the one I decided on. I feel like this video is a little chaotic, I hope you don't mind that. So this one, Scottish has 20 true tales of murder. So it's non-fiction. And like one of them is like a legend that nobody knows really how much of it is true, but the others are true. Except for some of them, we don't really know what happened because the person who did it never really said why or how, or the person who did it was never truly found. Like I think there was one where someone was arrested but they were clearly innocent, and the real murderer was just never discovered. I will say the second story, the legend one, was very dark, and the rest was fairly like simple, you know, a little bit of poison, a little bit of stabbing, a little bit of this and that. But the legend, wait, I think. Yeah, the legend of Sawney Bean, it's called. That one was grim. You can look it up, but really, discretion advised. I felt a little sick to my stomach after reading it. But I gave it 4 stars out of 5. It was good, was interesting, but not mind-blowing. And I also really appreciated the subtle humor in there. I really like it when books about serious topics like this one are written with just a little bit of humor. as if it was just like purely factual. After buying these two paperback books, I told myself that I was not going to buy another book, and if I ended up buying another book, it would not be a hardcover book. Needless to say, this is The Sun and the Void by Gabriela Romera Lacruz, and it's a Waterstones exclusive edition, which means that I can't get this in Germany, so I had to. And like, look at how pretty this is. This is so beautiful. So, also, right, if you take the cover off the paper, look at this design, look at it. I couldn't leave it there. Rena is desperate, stuck on the edges of society. Her only hope lies in an invitation from a grandmother she's never met. But the journey to her is dangerous, and prayer can't always avert disaster. Attacked by creatures that stalk the mountains, Rena is on the verge of death until her grandmother, a dark sorceress, intervenes. Now dependent on the Doniel's magic for her life, Rena will do anything to earn and keep her favor. Even the betting of an ancient god whispers to her at night. Eva Gisari is unwanted. Illegitimate and of mixed heritage, Eva is her family's shame. She tries to be the perfect daughter, but she's hiding a secret. Magic calls to her. Eva knows she should fight the temptation. Magic is the sign of the dark god, and using it is punishable by death. Yet it's hard to ignore power when it has always been denied you. Denied you. Eva is walking a dangerous path, one that gets stranger every day, and in the end she'll become something she never imagined. So, this is the author's debut novel, I believe. And in some parts, I think that was a little bit obvious, although I still very much enjoyed it. I gave this 4 stars out of 5, and I have 2 things that I didn't like, but I have to put this down because it's way too heavy. No, wait. Okay, first, some of the descriptions were very repetitive. Like every time someone got injured, the author would write like fire blooming, fire licking up by her side, as like a metaphor for battle wounds. And then the second thing is that like Eva was naive, and that fit her character pretty well. If you think I'm sitting weird, it's because I've got pins and needles on my legs. But Rena was just so passive. Like, she had a very strong belief that she believed in with everything she had. And then someone told her, no, actually, that's wrong. And then she was like, oh my god, it is. Now I believe in this other thing 100%. And then someone told her, no, actually, that's wrong too. And, you know, it felt like she was very quick to change her mind about things, and at some point it felt like a little unrealistic with how easy she was to convince. Like, I would have liked it better if she had been a little reluctant to change her opinions. Yeah, only 2 books left, and this next one was on my TBR forever. It's Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. have some tension, but it's not on page, so yeah. Anyway, this is about Annie and Will. And basically after her date tells her, or like she overhears him saying that she's very boring, Annie asks Will to help her become flirtatious and sexy and like good at dating. Basically she just wants to overcome her shyness and be able to talk and not freeze up when she's asked a question. And what I liked about this was how supportive Will was, and that he didn't push her. That I like myself a love interest who isn't a total douchebag. And he also always asked her if the things he was doing, if that was okay, if she was okay with that. And he was just so supportive of the things she loved and didn't ridicule her for any of it, which was like the bare minimum, not ridiculing your crush for things they like. But they were really sweet together. Yeah, and he's like this dark, broody type, but he's a cinnamon roll as well. And that was very refreshing to read, because I'm tired of how he's so dark and mysterious and absolutely atrocious to me, and but he's also so sexy. I'm so tired of that. So this was a fun twist. 4 out of 5. Okay, and then the last book was actually a little disappointing. I was so excited to read it. This is Arthur and Teddy Are Coming Out by Ryan Love, also a debut novel. I gave this 3.5, and this is a story about Arthur and Teddy, grandpa and grandson. And it starts with Arthur coming out to the family, who unfortunately don't all take it well. And Teddy is afraid to come out because of the reaction of the family, but also just in general. And it's about self-discovery and making mistakes in the past and in the present. Arthur's story was very sweet, and Teddy's was fine. But I had 2 problems. Number 1 is that I think Arthur and Teddy were too quick to forgive. This is supposed to be a feel-good story, so obviously you have to have a happy end. But I would have appreciated it if they weren't so quick to dismiss some of the homophobic actions of other people. It makes sense from a character perspective, because Arthur, for example, just wanted to live his last years happily. So obviously he would be quick to forgive, but I don't know, it felt like people who behaved badly weren't truly called out for it. They apologized, but still. And the second thing is that Teddy has a love interest in this book, and I didn't like the love interest because the love interest kept saying like really hurtful things, and when Teddy got hurt and called his love interest out, the love interest would twist his words and make it seem like Teddy was the bad guy. Like he would say things like basically Teddy's mom is a famous writer and got him a job at her newspaper thing. So he's a little bit of an apple baby. But then his love interest would say things like, oh yeah, obviously something like that, and then Teddy would be like, what do you mean? Like, I don't want to be like her son. I want to achieve things on my own. I don't know why you're saying that to me. And then the love interest would be like, oh, that's clearly not what I meant. Like, oh, but you said it. So, yeah, and that went on right until the end, with the love interest just saying something, getting called out for it, and then just turning things around. Yeah. Anyway, Arthur's story is very sweet, I will say that. Okay. I had one goal for this month, which was to read Ninth House by Lee Bardugo for a reading club, and I didn't read it, but I read all these other books, so it's okay. Also, just a little side note, you can click off now if you want to. I've really liked audiobooks this month because I've been in the car a lot and I get car sick when I read. I have to look out the window. And audiobooks just saved my life. I listened to, like normal people, I think I read like 20% of it, and the rest I listened to as an audiobook. Which was a little more bearable because I didn't feel like I was wasting my time as much as if I had been like sitting down reading it. But yeah, I think I'm gonna be listening to more audiobooks